Hey, Jonah, I can't hear you. Is that on my end?
You can't
Oh, there
hear
we
me.
go.
Oh,
Gotcha.
here at all.
All
Feel free
good.
to please hop in the comments if you're here. Let us know if you can hear and see us all right. That's very important before we get going. And also let us know where you're tuning in from. Something you're excited to learn, maybe how you heard about Julia or Spotlight. We love hearing all of that. And feel free to drop any questions in the comments, whether you're here for the replay or if you're watching live. We will do our best to answer all of those comments during the presentation. And if we don't get to you right away, we are not ignoring you. We have set aside a dedicated Q&A period at the end where we will get to all of those questions. So hop in there. Hello, I just want to call out, Haran is here. You've been at so many events. It's a blast to see you. And we got a few other people here tuning in from Springfield. Love it. Hello from Italy. That's fantastic.
Oh, those are my people.
Love it.
Chiara, Pam. Love it.
Love it. And just one more expectation, if things are moving fast or you have to get up away from the computer, all of this will be available in a replay. So don't fret. It'll be on the YouTube page, the Spotlight YouTube page, on the Spotlight event page, and emailed to you along with the course offer, which we'll talk about a little later. And just to make sure you're in the right place, like I said, we are talking to Julia McCoy, and today we are talking about how to earn real revenue in the next 90 days using inbound methodology. And we are going to learn exactly how to build and scale a market-proof, self-sustaining business you love with a content-based game plan for years of legacy and generational impact. Super excited to dive
What a
in,
mouthful.
Julia. I know. It's good copy, though. I love
It kept
but
going.
yeah.
Oh, there's more.
I don't want to take up any more time because I know you got a lot to share with us. So why don't let's dive in. You can introduce yourself and we'll get started.
Perfect. Let's do it. Let me go ahead and share my slides. So there we go. You got it, Jonah. I'm going to go to full screen. And I have a little bit about me in here. So we're just going to get into it. So I know a lot of you already know me.
Julia?
So, yes.
Oh, real quick. I think you might have to share your full screen because we're still stuck on the other one. But so we'll get that going real quick.
Yeah. Let's do that.
What we're doing, I just want to call out, we got an active chat here today. People tuning in from New Jersey and all over. This is so fun.
Wow.
Love it. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I know it's an early morning, so appreciate you being here.
Yes. Well, we have someone in Italy, so it's like all the time zones.
That's true. That's true.
I love
and
it.
Also, I'll take this opportunity quick to call out. Julia has done quite a few events with us. So not right now, stay for this event. But after this event, if you just want to know more and are interested in Julia and what she has to share, look her up and Spotlight on Spotlight Julia McCoy on YouTube, and you'll find all of her events. And there's a whole wealth of awesome knowledge there. I learn a lot every time. But we got our slides up, so let's dive in.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jonah.
Of course.
Well, let's get into this topic, guys. Are you ready? How to earn real revenue in the next 90 days using inbound methodology. So who is this for? Let's address that right out of the gate, right? That's important. We don't want to waste your time, and I'm sure you don't want your time wasted either. So this is for you if you're at a brand new place, or I would also add a place where you're plateaued. Maybe you're not seeing the results you want to see, and you want a proven pathway to a digital business that makes great income, grows over time through very strategic and authentic to you marketing, which is so important in this flashy Instagram age, that we are authentic in our marketing. That's when it works, by the way. And it's fun and manageable, and it doesn't run you ragged. Okay, so a little bit about me. I have quite the story. I actually grew up inside of a fundamentalist cult. I know some of you here are already my friends, already know this about me, but some of you may not. And back in 2012, I literally escaped in the middle of the night. That was my story. My passion was my lifeline, my passion for writing specifically. And I was able to turn it into a legacy, a means of income, but not just a way to pay the bills. I was able to lead in the marketplace, write 6 books. That should say 6 because my 6 just came out. And I was even able to sell and exit my business. And I'm here today to tell you that anything is possible. If you are clinging to how you started, maybe an old mindset, all the things I had to overcome, I can tell you that does not need to stand in your way. And that is why I share my story and what I've been through, because I believe that anyone can be successful if I can do this. So back in the 90s is when I grew up in Pennsylvania. I grew up in a religious church, which is now what I call a cult, since leaving what was a very brainwashed environment. When you're in it, you often don't know what it is, right? But we were segregated from society. And as a family of four, my brothers, my sisters, and I, we lived on less than $400 a month. So at 13 years old, I had to actually make some money to buy clothes and help buy food. So I turned to the internet and I built my first revenue stream. My first paycheck at 13 years old was $350. And I have been making money online ever since. And I primarily use that passion I have for writing, right? So that has been my channel. So since then, I've had the honor, blessing, privilege to do a lot of things, speaking on stages, writing books. But before I did all that, I launched and focused on building my own self-sustaining business. And I can tell you, this was my best decision. So if you're just starting out and you're like, well, Julia, you've written books, you're on stages, you do not need to do that, okay? To make income, you do not. In fact, what's funny about this particular event, you see in the pictures here, where I'm up there, where I'm teaching, this entire event had 4,000 marketers. And there was a line outside the door. I don't know if you can see it. The door is currently open. It was a fire hazard. How many people came in that room? But would you believe it or not, we did not have anyone purchase from that event. Instead, my business was making money with clients that already knew, liked, and trusted us. So we were bringing in, a couple $1,000 sales. I still remember that day with my team and my clients. Nobody here. So just to bust a myth there, that you do not have to speak on stage. You do not have to write books. It truly comes down to your strategic marketing strategy. So we all like a good before and after, right? So that was my first office, that picture up there on the left. That was less than $400 a month back in Missouri. And since then, I've taken the slow and steady route through this inbound methodology, through this approach. I've been able to do things like buy my dream home, go above and beyond just paying the bills. So I get to do what I love every day. And let me tell you, every day I'm so thankful for that freedom. So in the last 10 years, we did over 40,000 projects in my agency. And I was able to sell and exit that agency successfully last fall. So at the beginning of my entire journey, typical marketing advice really didn't sit well with me. And maybe this is true for a lot of you. Maybe you've heard things that you just don't identify with, or it doesn't make sense, or it feels like a ton of struggle for a little bit of results. So instead, I went down my own path and I figured out how to bring in quality leads on autopilot every day. And my approach was by using my owned real estate. So this is real estate on the internet that I owned, not rented. This went against every flashy tactic. This was the unsexy route, because when you own your own real estate online, you have to build from the ground up. That approach, most people are not up for. It sounds very difficult, but here's the truth. When you build on your own real estate, it is the only form of sustainable marketing. It is the only form of marketing that compounds over time. So, for example, if you're committed, you're doing one strategic blog a week, which is what we have done for 10 years to grow to 100,000 visitors a month and almost that, about 90,000 in income per month. One blog a week, very strategic. That compounds. And in 2 years, you'll actually get more traffic from that one blog than you will the day you put it out. That is investment-minded marketing. Whereas when you're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook groups, you're doing appearances, you're networking, you got your feet on the ground, you're doing trade shows, all the stuff, right? And in person actually got harder than ever from the events of 2020 and the pandemic. So there are things we cannot even do now in the unsustainable marketing world, but you might get a lead in the next 8 hours, right? From doing that story or from that post. What's going to happen next week? Where are you going to get your clients? You might get a viral spike from a reel. Maybe it hit 10,000 views. Where is that going to go? Nowhere. The sad truth is all of that type of marketing, whenever it's not on your real estate, it does not compound and it dies. The views, the leads from that eventually die off. Here's the data in case you're like, are you sure about this, Julia? Here is the actual data. This is a chart. Took us a lot of time to put together. This is in my 6th book that just came out 2 weeks ago, called Content Burnout. Yes, it's right now. You can get it on Amazon. But this is the data. So on average, on Instagram, for example, one post lasts up to 48 hours. That's it. It's dead on average within 48 hours, your reach. On Facebook, 5 hours. Pinterest, 4 months. TikTok, just a few minutes. Twitter, up to 20 minutes. YouTube, much better, 30 plus days. And that's why I only do these 2 things, YouTube and blogging. And the other things I just do for fun, right? And you'll find me on Instagram actually saying that. I'm very transparent about that. We do not get leads and sales from Instagram. I don't ever want to count on it because it's unreliable. The blog, that is your longest lifespan. 2+ years from now, you're getting more views on that blog post. And I've done this, right? We led over 40,000 content projects, every industry. You know what's crazy is even hospitals get their patients from the blog, but they don't present it as a blog. Yeah, it's like a WebMD type of article. But that's where they're getting foot traffic. So in so many industries, you can repeat this with success. It's all about getting strategic. So less really is more. We used to blog like 4 or 5 times a week. We really went gung-ho on this. We actually got more results whenever we did less. And we got very strategic. So today, and you can get to this point, I am delegating the writing of about 4 up to 3,000 word pieces a month. And then I have blog editors scheduling it for me. So it's mostly hands off. I am in the ideation. And that, in case you're not familiar with that word, I'm just putting together the idea of that post. So it's still coming from me, right? Because if it's under your name, even if you're delegating it, you'll see that theme repeated here. We don't believe in 100% outsourcing, but you do want to get help. You do not want to be the lone wolf. So at the beginning, it was me both writing and strategizing. This is fine. This is how you do it. Boots on the ground style. That's okay. But within my first 2 years, I was delegating your content creation, the meat of your content. This is a must, especially, and I would say if you own your own business, this is the route you have to go to be able to breathe when you're practicing the inbound methodology. So if you're making money, and I recommend around 2,000 to 5,000 a month, that's when you should be reinvesting into content. And these can cost, around, it depends on the writer you hire, $200 to $500 to get this written. But let me remember, right? Don't think about the cost. It's an investment, because in 2 years, what if that blog post got you 10 times more leads? That's amazing. Amazing to be able to count on that. So this particular blog, we published it last summer, How to Be a Content Marketing Writer. It is living in the top of Google, and it builds our traffic for us every day. Every single day we get a passive lead from this blog. This is magic, but it's real life magic. This is marketing that works. So what if you traded all of the unsustainable forms of marketing, just so many things you could be doing, for just a few strategies that actually work, that you can count on, that you can say, hey, next week I will be getting leads and sales. I know I will. I can count on it. And you can step away. You can have time with your family, have time. That is where we need to be. That's where we need to think, instead of showing up every day hoping for leads and sales. There is a better way. So I did the math on what this costed me in mistakes at the beginning because I am not perfect. Right? You know my story. I did not grow up with anything handed to me. I had to learn all of this. So for 4 years, we actually didn't have a clear content strategy. We wasted about $80,000 on all the tactics we were told to try. And that's why I didn't want to do them. I saw them fizzle out and not work. And while we were wasting 80 grand on all of these tactics, we were stuck at 30K months, which wasn't even income we were taking home. We were taking home 10K. And our team was almost at 40 people. That was the truth. That was the underbelly. Very embarrassing, right? To have to admit that for 4 years. So when we implemented a content strategy, and it's more than that, it's the skill of running a business. You got to get clear on that too. It's your systems to have a few people that help you do these things, your small core teams, simple systems. When we did those 3 things, content strategy, business skills, people systems for our business, we went from 30K gross to 71K gross. And I remember that it only took us a few months when we implemented these things on an existing business that was making money. So from that year, that was 2016 when we had that leap, till the year I sold, this was steady. And this is the thing you're not going to see from so many influencers that present a lot of numbers. They're not going to tell you the duration of their income. So we had steady growth. We hit 7-figure years on year 7. We didn't hit it on year 2. We didn't hit it on year 3. But you know what's amazing is whenever I went to exit that business and do something else because my passion changed, that's really the main reason. This was a great business to run, made lots of money. The reason we were able to sell was because we had this slow and steady trajectory. Slow and steady, really, it's amazing when your business has that. It doesn't burn you out. You can count on leads and sales, and then you can even count on an exit one day if you wanted to. So when all these things came out, TikTok, Snapchat, Blab, Discord, Instagram Reels, you name it, I didn't have to show up on those. And I'd already figured out how to set up my own strategy, people systems, business skills without any of that. I didn't need it. And I've downloaded TikTok. I've uninstalled it. I've tried Clubhouse, uninstalled it. It was fun, but we didn't have to be there. And that was the beautiful thing. Meanwhile, I was watching so many of my peers spend hundreds of hours showing up live. I still remember when Blab came out in 2016. I had a host of friends that went there. It was lots of fun. And then all their content went away. That's not good if you're relying on that content to build your traffic. That is not good, people. You want the content to live. You want your content to live on and bring you traffic and sales to your business. So like I was saying, I'm on these platforms, but it's just for fun. It's just to have more impact and reach. I make great connections here, but most of the time these don't turn into sales. The sales come from our inbound content. That is the sustainable long-term approach. So this is what I really wanted to do. And it almost sounds mythical whenever you think about it. I wanted to build a presence in my marketplace that earned long-term trust. I knew that trust was like a bank. You're putting income, you're putting money in. Well, the banks today had it. That could be challenged. It's crazy, inflation and all of that. What's happening with currency? But if you invest in people, if you invest in a trust-first approach, you know, I am who I say I am. Here's proof. Here's why. Here's why I care. That is embedded in your marketing. That's what I wanted. I wanted that trust because I know that you can't take trust away. A competitor can't get online tomorrow and take away your trust. That is the truth. So that's what I wanted to do, is have that trust first approach. I knew in my gut that that's what would make me last. That's what would make our brand memorable. Then I wanted a team, an amazing team of people that could do it all for me, right? Show up to all the calls, do all the things. And I wanted to earn sales from people that had never met me before on autopilot. This is possible in a digital business. This is 101% possible. If your presence is online, We tell you, you can do this and you can scale it. That is the beauty of an online business. So I did it. And for 100% humanly run agency, that means you have to staff humans to provide the service. We were able to be at a 52% profit margin for 4 years running before I sold and exited. And at that point, I didn't have to be on a single sales call. I didn't speak to a single client unless I wanted to. There were a couple clients we had that were like BFFs. So I definitely, I had a call here and there, but it was like one every 2 months. My social media presence was just for fun. My team did all the work for me. I oversaw and I delegated my own marketing calendar. This is what you can achieve. You can get out of that grind. And let me tell you, that grind is not humanly possible if you want to scale. It is not, because things will blow up. So the next question is, well, how, right? How is this even possible? So this is the methodology that I am now teaching, because it really represents the full picture. You need this revolving wheel in your business in order to see all of this work, to be off of the sales calls, to have sustainable marketing, the whole thing, right? Because it's not just the blog that helped us go to 7 figures. It's not just one piece of this. So I call this the content transformation system. Yes, I copyrighted the method and everything. I'm not serious about it. This is the only training system in existence. I've been studying the market of teaching coaching for 5 years that helps entrepreneurs go from 0 to a self-sustaining online business in 90 days. This is for a digital business with a 5-year, multi-year roadmap to lasting impact. So let's break it all down. What's going on here? What is in these 5 phases to growth for your business? So simplified, here's what it looks like. The first step to that inbound marketing and that revenue you want in 90 days to scale, right? To have sustainability in your business. The first step, if you haven't yet, you have to master your business mindset and skill set. 2 things there. Mindset and skill set specifically for your business. And this is not the thing you're already good at, the thing you practice, whether you're, let's say, a videographer, a photographer, a writer. You're already good at a skill set, I would bet. But maybe it's the business skill set, right? And when I've talked to my creatives that I help train to build their own businesses, this is what's missing, is that business skill set. And that's a lot of things. That's the content strategy. That's the finances for your business. All the little things that actually make a business work. So you want to succeed long-term by setting up those 2 things from the very beginning. And that's also like the messaging in your marketplace. Does your brand really have clarity? And it took me about 8 years actually to get clear on my brand positioning in the marketplace. So you can be a practitioner for years and years and years and still not have clarity on your messaging, your copy, your positioning in the industry. But that's what moves the needle. That's what magnetizes people to you. And all this works together, remember? So let's say, for example, you had a great blog, you learned that strategy, but your homepage didn't have messaging set up to represent the power of what it is you do. Didn't have a one clear sentence that tells everybody, this is what you do, this is the transformation you offer. Then how many people are going to bounce? This is all holistic. It all works together to see success. So the next thing here is to master that revenue growth by processing and delegating your tasks. Then you want to refine your sales and marketing approach. So you're learning, right, the skill set phase, you're learning what the sales and marketing approach is. You're getting clear on that as a skill. It's now a skill in your toolkit. Next, to scale that skill, you have to delegate, build a process around it. Then it's time to grow, exponentially grow in the marketplace. This is the fun part. This is when you can step out of the 90 days and kind of look ahead into the next few years. What is down the pipeline for me? Well, you want to exponentially grow your brand and your name. You can do this. We've done it with something called evergreen sales vehicles. You can pick the one you like. It could be a podcast, it could be a free training class, it could be guest blogging. It doesn't have to be one thing. Like, I'm not going to tell you you have to write a book. Or it can be a book, and I'll give you my secrets. Book writing is really not hard if you have a strategy. And then the last thing, this is simple. You want to refine continually what it is you're doing over time. This is not a one shot in the dark. This is an approach you have to consistently look at and refine. How is my blog? How is my marketing? Can I do better? Can I do better? And sometimes just that 10% improvement, right, can get you so much further. Okay, so let's break each one of these steps down even further. So the first one, the business mindset and skill set mastery. You know, before you do content, you have to take a step back and get clear on your brand. What is your brand's position? What is your vision? What is your mission? All that good stuff. And you want to create the cores of long-term business success. So essentially your brand is built whenever you map out and you verify an offer or services. And you connect that to this beautiful brand that is clear, crystal clear on what it is you're offering. How do you do this? There's about seven to 8 steps. Here's the first 4. So the first 4 is you need to establish your niche and your audience offer. Get clear on that. Are you targeting a clear niche? Do they have a verifiable pain point? This is so simple. This is like the simplest part of business, but it's probably one of the most missed parts of business. And that's not just me. I've heard that from so many other entrepreneurs that teach people how to build a sustainable business, how to build business. This is where you have to start. And a lot of times this is overlooked because it's so easy just to go to Instagram and create content, right? Create content, got to get out there. But if you are not clear here first, all of that will fall flat. You might leave money on the table. You might not even make sales because it's not clear what you offer, right? So those things are critical. You need to establish product market fit. You need to talk to a real live audience. Are you using their language or are you using yours? Very important here. You have to use their language, the language of your people. Are you building core business drivers? Do you have one clear sentence that identifies, defines your brand super, super clearly to your ICA, ideal client avatar? And here's an example because, again, it's so easy to overlook this and think, Julia, I've got this down. I don't need to worry about this. Look at my homepage. It's good. But is it? Because here's what most do. I teach you and then insert what it is they do. So for example, here's a coach that teaches you how to heal with naturopathic remedies. Okay, that's their statement. Maybe that's their sticky statement, their LinkedIn headline. They might be more on Instagram because that's a better platform for this type of audience. Maybe that's their Instagram bio. What about this? What if they said who they served? Maybe that's mamas, the decision maker in a family that's going to invest in a naturopathic remedy kit. All right, so they've targeted the decision maker. And then they're saying what it is they do. Got to get clear, stay clear. But they're attaching a pain or pleasure to get that person to think, aha, yes, this is what I need. And that is what moves the needle. That creates action. So I help, she's identifying her target audience, mamas, use naturopathic remedies and avoid, there's your pain. I'm avoiding the risk of trusting my health to the pharmaceutical industry. And of course, this should look specific to you and your audience. What pains do they have? And this could also be a pleasure. Let me tell you, we're actually testing the positive because we have the opportunity in my coaching program to help students in so many industries, which is amazing. And we're seeing that the positive side, the pleasure, can actually be more of a hook than the pain. But at the same time, history will not lie. History repeats itself. People shudder and they relate to the pain if you have clearly identified it. If you know that's their pain point, that's what keeps them up at night, that's their fear, biggest fear, ideally, then that's always a great hook. But the pleasure side is also really, really good. Like, what's the benefit? What's the 10x transformation? Okay, so we could live there, right? You can tell. I love this stuff. So inside my methodology-driven program, content transformation system, this is something we actually coach you through. So I am often rewriting this for my students, helping them get super crystal clear. And I have our top writer from Content Hacker as a coach doing this too. It's pretty powerful, powerful stuff. So now you can launch your website and brand. The other things are clear. Now it's go time, right? And the other things can take a week, sometimes a week and a half, sometimes 2 weeks, or you can go at your own speed, take a month. That can take a minute to really identify your place in the market. And you want to be strategic about it. You want to know how to actually do that. Then it's so easy to launch a killer brand. You've done the research. Your brand is set up right from the beginning. And the last thing I'll tell you to do is to build your website yourself. No, we will tell you how to do it without doing it yourself, because you should not be doing that part unless you're a web designer, which most of us probably are not. So what are the other skills? Because it takes marketing, right? It takes sales. What are those skills? What does that look like? So we need to learn content strategy, specifically from that SEO data research perspective, because we're going to get strategic here. Strategic with our content. Not one piece of content will fall flat if you have that approach. You need to know what good web copywriting looks like, what good social media captions copywriting looks like. Simple formulas, frameworks that work, right? The structure of that. Then list building. That's another key skill. Creating your first 2 lead magnets. That is how you begin to draw in and turn the traffic into subscribers. Video creation, we cannot deny. Videos they're a must in 2022. So that is also a skill to learn. And sometimes it comes down to confidence on camera. So that's something you want to learn as well, is how do I actually appear on camera? How do I do it? And how do I have the strategy behind publishing video content? Because that is a topical driven strategy too. So our idea here is that no content piece falls flat, right? It's okay if it's imperfect. That's not the point there, but it needs to have a strategy behind it, a strategy driving it. And these are going to be repeatable skills that you can use over and over. And then the last one, because I always like to make sure that the short term is covered, is do you know how to find and pitch targeted clients for some short-term sales? And if you know this skill, you can get incredible response rates, like a 50% conversion on a completely cold client. We're doing it. It's all about the strategy. How targeted is it? How relevant is the strategy and the copy, right? All this goes hand in hand. It really does. So the content strategy driven from that SEO data research perspective, this is how you bring in leads on autopilot that find you and want your service, and you don't have to pitch them. It's amazing when people hit you up and they are already sold. And that can happen 100% through content. So again, this nice visual here, think about sustainability versus that one-time viral spike, right? Social media is great. We can hop on it at any time, but will it bring us leads, not just today, not just tomorrow, but in 7 days, 14 days, a month from now, right? The only form of compounding marketing that does that is an inbound content strategy. We have some students that are getting massive results. David Martin, he owns a company called uxhacks.com. Already very smart business owner, already an amazing 10-year practitioner. So he saw a 400% increase in ideal leads less than 30 days in from learning this system, the content transformation system. Not only that, but he was able to hire his first writer for the first time that showed up, got a whole 4,000 word blog written, didn't break the bank, and did an amazing job. So we teach all of that, right? It's a holistic, it's an atmosphere you have to create, plug it into your business to see success. Skills, strategy, and systems. And the systems oftentimes are people. So, but this was an amazing case study, and he's continuing to implement and see a lot of success. But that was just, he only did one blog, by the way. One blog. In less than 30 days, he saw a 400% increase in organic traffic. It's all about getting strategic. So for 10 years, this is what I have done to grow and hit 100,000 visitors a month and $90,000+ a month in sales, right? Not just for 1 year, right? This is not fly by night, for a decade. A decade, and I'm only 30, you guys. So the sky is the limit here. But this was the blog that we ran, Express Writers Write blog. This was my agency site that I sold last September. And the amazing thing is, whenever you hit number 1 for these keywords, this is a screenshot from SEMrush, you keep those positions as you continue to publish great content, because Google looks at your site as a whole. Again, that holistic perspective. How consistent are you? Are you showing up consistently with content? Is it all strategic? Is none of it a shot in the dark? Well, your whole site's going to rise and everything gets a boost. So we saw 2 to 5 leads a day come in on autopilot from these rankings. And let me tell you, some of these leads, they had a 6-figure budget for content creation. Amazing. And that's been proven in studies. I think it was Marketing Sherpa did a study, maybe it was HubSpot, did a study and found that the leads clicking in organic SERPs versus PPC versus ads, they have a higher budget on average. So amazing. Our ongoing blog posts, this maintained our visitor count. This is sustainable marketing. It truly is. We were able to achieve some amazing numbers. What's crazy is we never actually sought out a single backlink. All the techniques that SEOs tell you to do, we didn't do one of those. We did what I'm teaching you today, this methodology, and we just practiced it for months. And it brought us to this point, over $100,000 a month in income. So we did very meta, right? We grew through content. We sold content. We completed over 40,000 content projects for all industries. We did content for YouTube influencers. Yes, YouTube influencers were using their blog to get their own traffic. We did content for, you name it, a hospital, a financial firm, small businesses in every niche and industry. We saw content work for all of them. The strategy works in every industry. Why? Because the majority of the world is starting their search. Their travel online, their journey online starts with a search. That's why this works, because 7 billion searches are happening per day. So think about that, right? Your pie, your small vertical is probably in there, and it is. We saw content work in 40,000 content projects, hundreds of industries, and I hired all the writers. We had writers in over 18 industries, specialists, not just writers that kind of knew the industry. No, we had like writers that had passed the bar, that were attorneys writing legal content. We saw this content work. So I'm repeating the same method for all the growth here at Content Hacker. Well, 90%, 10% is other sources. We're testing out social media, but let me tell you, I believe in what I teach, and that's why it's 90% of our growth. So Content Hacker is a new brand that I started building back in 2019. We bought the domain. I trademarked the name. And we've done, this is not a recent screenshot here. So we've done more than this. Over 400,000 in sales in just coaching and consulting, not services. And I actually shut down all of my client services last December. I want to go all in on teaching. So our blog, very strategic. Every single topic is driven from a strategy perspective. And it's getting that traffic in Google. It's hooking them, right? Bringing them into us, giving them a great brand experience because we got everything else right? The website, that authentic nature in our tone, our voice, all of these things, they all work. And it's like angels singing when it all works together. It truly is. So Content Hacker ranks number 1 for keywords like how to start a content writing agency. Number 3 for broad keywords like marketing writing. And these bring us leads on autopilot every day. And sales too, every week. So this inbound approach, this is what we teach you to do. All of it, the whole holistic thing, the giant wheel, right? And this is the focus, what we call a content house. Your real estate, your website. Everything else is a channel into your house, your website. So I've been teaching this for years, that content house first approach. This is in my books. You can find it in many of my other courses. We have had students that have seen success with just the SEO content strategy, just that one piece of this pie. So Monique, she has a business called Proof Mango. She said that whenever she implemented the SEO strategy, that long form driven content piece, she saw leads not just come in, but look at this, book a call when she was on the call, already recognized her as an expert, didn't need to be sold, already sold. That's amazing. This is how to do it. It's content that builds trust for you, so you don't have to show up and sell and sell and sell. Do all that stuff every day. Content can replace that. So Lorraine, who has jumped into the full thing, the content transformation system, which we just launched, by the way, last November, actually last December. So it is the culmination of all the other courses. It's better. It is improved. It's all new content. Nothing's regurgitated. So Lorraine jumped in. She saw a 4 times increase on her leads. She got published by a big guest blog. These were things she's been trying to do for years. And she actually gave us a new testimonial, because this was older, about her more recent progress. You can see that at contenthacker.com/transformation. But she said that in the last 10 years, she had been to about 5 to 6 different mentors. And we were the first, this program was the first one that helped her get clear on her brand, authentic to her own heart, her own style, bring that out, put it in front of her market, get her first writer, all the things, right? That once you line them up, big things happen. Big things happen, not just revenue, right? Like Lorraine is getting influence now. She's getting published by a massive guest blog, getting many more leads to come in and know, like, and trust her immediately, because she's clear on all these things and she has help. She doesn't have to show up and write all the content. And it's funny, whenever I was on a call with her, she was one of our very first founding members. So I got on a call with her because we didn't even have a single testimonial yet for the program. Now we have more than 15. So whenever I got on a call with her, she was telling me how she was staying up so late, trying to get all this content done, pulling out her hair. And I was like, oh, we can really help you. And that's where she's at just 3 months later. Less than 3 months. She has a writer. She has all of this working. This is amazing when you shift into this direction. So Rowena, she's building a brand called Content Mamas. The offer is about to launch, hasn't launched yet. So she's setting her entire service-based offers using our system. So our system not only teaches you, right, the business skills. Well, in the business skills, you learn how to set up good offers, because that is a business skill. Let's face it. If your offer sucks, who's going to buy it? So that's a business skill. So that's something we embedded into this program. It's massive. It's crazy, but it's all there. So Michelle, she has an entrepreneurial family. She got this program instead of college for one of her kids. And now that amazing little kid that she's in that picture, Millie, she is using this, and then it has a ripple effect in their entire family. They're getting clarity, she told me, on so many different things that they're doing. And that's amazing. I love seeing that, right? Because that is generational impact right there. That is awesome. So mindset is a key. There's so many things here. Mindset is a part of this, because sometimes our minds can get in the way of our own success. I know it's happened for me, believe it or not, but every time I do something, whether it's launch a book 2 weeks ago, I'm like, is anybody going to like this? So let me tell you, that does not go away. And this is the worst one to get stuck in. I don't know how to do any of this. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time to even get started. Here's the truth. If you keep thinking that way, you will always be out of time and money. We have to challenge our ways of thinking. We have to start thinking differently. And what if we asked ourselves, what if this worked? What if in 2 years, in 1 year, I could be at this place? Okay, then you just need to sit down and reverse engineer how to get there. And that entire mode of thinking, let me tell you, if you can shift out of no money, no time, can't do it, don't know how to do it, which is so common, you're not alone. If you can shift out of that and into what if I could? Okay, what do I need to do to get there? That's powerful. That's momentum right there. Just that. Thoughts truly equal results because everything in our lives start at the thought level. So let's quit thinking we don't have enough time, we don't have enough money, because guess what? If we always think that, that'll be our reality. What if that wasn't? Let's start thinking like that. So a few of the most important mindset things to learn here that we teach in the system is how to think like a boss, not a worker. How to shift out of that worker mindset, because that is embedded into society. You're not taught to think like a boss. You're taught to think like a worker. So how do you unlearn that? Then obstacles. How do you face obstacles? That one is so critical because that is also a big factor in society. It's why 70% of businesses fail in the first few years. When that obstacle comes up, it's so easy to fold. So how do we retrain our mind? How do we see obstacles differently? What about decision making? How do we make the right decisions? This one was hard for me. I am a creative, intuitive person. I'm not typically the loudest in the room making the decision. So I had to learn this. And let me tell you, when I did, it was transformational. We stopped wasting money. We stopped hiring the wrong people. Decision making is important to learn. And then how do you tap into your intuition? So one of the people I've taught is this amazing lady, Brittany Brander. And she said that it wasn't just the skills, but it was that brain knowledge, the process, the mindset. And this helped position her. She had that confidence from learning the skill. And it positioned her as one of the few content marketing pioneers up in her area, which was Calgary, Canada. So a new thought process can do everything for you. It truly can. And it's not just mindset, right? It's skill set, because if you have the mindset, but you're lacking the skill set, that can be false confidence. We don't want that. We don't want that. Clients will see right through that, and the real world will not appreciate that. So you have to have both. You have to back up your mindset with the skill set of running a business, of launching content, a content marketing strategy that works. So this is what a mom blogger told us, went through the program, that all the dots are finally connecting. And this equaled confidence, not only in how she did her own blog, but how she approached her clients. And it's amazing, like whenever you know things, how you're able to speak to your clients drastically changes. Just the confidence from knowing how to define something, how to implement something. Whenever you show up and speak to your clients on the phone, on a Zoom, like it really shows. And also on the flip side, a lack of that really shows. Okay, so running through these last three here. So mastering growth. Like we were talking about earlier, this comes down to a process and delegation. And you can keep it simple. You do not have to have something fancy. For example, whenever we were running our 7-figure agency, we never used Salesforce. We didn't use all these systems that most big companies did. We kept it lean and scrappy. So if you're a business owner, that is a way you can protect your margin. But here's what typically happens. This is not sustainable because, frankly, it's asking too much of yourself. We call this struggling Samantha, aka the non-strategic business owner. She's attached to everything. She has to show up, do her content. She has to take every call. She has to show up on social media. She has to deliver all the tasks. Ugh. And so not only is this difficult and produces errors, even if Samantha is the best person in the world, the best writer in the world, which, let's face it, most business owners aren't. But even if you are, this will result in errors because this is just simply not humanly possible. If you are wanting to scale past a few thousand a month, this is not possible. This is not how you scale. You can't do it all. Sorry. So this is how you scale. We call this strategic Sarah. So she has delegated and created processes for three things: the deliverables that are going out, the client contact process, that sales process, what happens from that first initial call to their purchased, they've bought. And then the other part is her own marketing. How is she getting new leads every day? And look at her team. So a social media manager, a blog editor, a writer. Those two things are one for me. I've hired a writer that also doubles as a blog editor. Under the client team, a salesperson, you only need one good one. We scaled a 7-figure business with one salesperson, and they weren't even a salesperson. They did not make commissions. They were amazing at the product we sold, content. And then your deliverables. Who is showing up to deliver that with and for you? This is the last thing you want to outsource, especially if you're a coach or an expert. And oftentimes, people want to just stay in that process. That's fine. That's completely fine. If you have the other ones delegated, especially your marketing, you can still be the expert. But if you want to scale that income, add a few more experts, right? Otherwise, you're not going to be able to scale because, again, you cannot be the unstrategic poor Samantha, right? Oops, my slides are going a little crazy on me here. Okay, so not only should you delegate your client work, but you need to delegate your marketing too. And this is often missed by business owners because they are victims. They're victims to their own process. And they think that I have to do it all because I'm the business owner. It's a natural thought process. But the truth is you don't. And you shouldn't. If you want to have better results, a writer in your corner, a personal writer that you've hired, that you work with, knows your brain. That's what we teach in the system. Does amazing things for your marketing. So the 3-hour, 30-day method is something that I created once we were able to scale. So once we had delegated our content to writers, you can absolutely plan out your content in just 3 hours every 30 days. And this is when blogging really gets fun. Whenever I'm watching my designer upload images to our content calendar and I'm like, ooh, that's such a good image. And I know that the blog editor is publishing it tomorrow and I'm just showing up to write an email. Very minimal, simple things. That's when blogging really gets fun. But again, we don't start at the growth phase. As fun and amazing as that sounds to jump right in, we start with the skills phase. Because if you don't have your brand set up right, you should not be doing content. You could waste your time and money. Because we did at one point years and years ago. So you want to learn how to do things first yourself, because then it's so easy to delegate. When you know what good content looks like, you can direct your writer so much more quickly. So a business owner doesn't have the skills, well, they make a poor leader. And that is the bottom line truth of why you want to build the skills first, instead of just going into scaling and hiring. And the skills, you can learn those in a couple of weeks. Doesn't have to be this in-depth 4-year going back to college process. By no means at all. So if you have taken the time to build knowledge in these 2 areas, the creative skill of marketing, the creative skills that go into that, what does good writing for the web actually look like? Right? And then business skills. How have I set up my business? Is the messaging clear? Is my website clear? Is the tech set up right? Simple stuff that really matters so you don't break when you scale. So if you know those things, then you can scale, then you can hire. It'll be smooth. You'll be so much of a better leader. So here's what the structure of a good business can look like. Something that is set up well. So we have Express Writers down there, the agency I sold. But again, it's totally up to you. You can hire an agency to do content, or you can hire your own writer. So the point there is to get out of your marketing. You don't want to be doing all your content every single day, and you shouldn't be. If you've been demanding that of yourself, it needs to stop now. If you're wanting to scale past a few thousand a month. And then on the client side, you just need a few really amazing people. That can be the value of 100 people, let me tell you, because we went through all this. I've built both small teams and big ones. And one amazing person is all you need to run 7-figure sales. And then you can scale, and you can have that one amazing person train people below them. You can kind of create very scrappy little departments. And all of this is remote, right? Don't have to show up, be in an office anymore. So simple systems, you see a task management system there? Simple systems is key. So when it comes to finding that ideal person, oftentimes it's not actually about the skill set that they have. It's more about, do they align with your brand? Do they have specific expertise? Not just like broad, like I'm a good writer. I know accounting. Like let's say you're going to hire a CPA. It needs to be specific expertise. They need to be excited to work with you. As strange as that one sounds, that is I call that the mutual likability factor. And that's what connects them to your brand and stabilizes them so they don't go running off to any other company with a higher offer. They need to be excited to work with you, and you need to give them a reason why. This is something we teach. They also need to be willing to grow and be mentored, adaptable to feedback. That one's really important. So we give you the process, the templates, the platforms for finding and training your ideal people. And this is your social media manager. This is your, let's say, a support team member, your sales member, all of those people. You can apply this process to. And then we personally review your job applicants. And we've had some people they finally hired. They're amazing people. Some agency owners that have bought this system and walked in as a student. They went from not able to hire for a couple years to hiring that it was 2 people. One of them was able to hire out of 1,000 candidates, and they only needed 2 rock stars. So we helped them narrow that down. Out of 1,000 people, though, like, that's how to do it. And that's when people stick with you for life. Like, you have done the work to find them. There, you've narrowed out everything. You've used this template. So how do you manage tasks? Well, you want to keep it simple. That is my philosophy. And it is not what you use, but how you use it. Make it easy on yourself. Don't buy that expensive program that takes even more work to run. Keep it simple. So for us, this is what we've used to run both a company that had 100 on staff and my next 7-figure company, which we're going to hit that number, it looks like, in the next 18 months per year. So it's Google Suite, G Suite, Google Drive, Google Docs, Google Sheets. It's how you can run so many different things. Process sheets. ClickUp is how you can manage your tasks. Slack is how you can manage your day-to-day communication. So another amazing story, Andia Rizpa. And I love this story because it's not where you come from, which I'm such a big believer in. It's not what was handed to you. And Andia is actually based in Nigeria. So she really has all the reasons not to try to do this, right? The mindset, I don't have money. I don't have time. So she's going all in and she's building her agency. She can do it. She has so much expertise. She comes from a finance background. So she said that this system was not just what she used to create success in her business, to find her ideal client avatar, right? All the core things, critical building blocks, outsourcing, structuring a team. But you have me, you have my coaches, and we are business partners. Let me tell you, in this system, we are business partners. That's how we function. The level of support is next to none. And that's what she was able to say and see when she went through the program, which is amazing. I love her story. And she's continuing to succeed. Their journey, all of the people in our system, it's a continual journey. It's a 12-month journey, really, because this is not something you do overnight. This is something you implement. And then you see all the steps through for success. And then you get all your questions answered. You're going to have questions in this process. So the third step here in this methodology is when you can exponentially grow, right? You've done all that hard work. I'm sure phase 1 and phase 2 sounded like a heck of a lot of work. It is. Don't underestimate that. If you want to run an amazing business, it's going to be some learning, some implementing and testing and working on new things that you may never have done before. Systems, people, delegation, the skill sets involved in running the actual business, challenging your mindset along the way, right? But what happens is once you master all those things, and you overcome all those obstacles, and you learn and you implement, you get to a place where things are delegated and you can grow. And that's when you can kind of launch your name in the industry, launch your brand. You can create something we call evergreen sales vehicles to get known even more. What are those? Well, these are the 3 ones we recommend. Tested many. These are the ones that stick. One is a book. Absolutely, a book goes so far. Another is guest blogging, getting on these big industry publications. That absolutely gets you far. But see how we don't start here, right? We're starting with your real estate because Huffington Post went away. Good thing I only blogged there twice. So this isn't our focus. This is a means for growth. And then you can do a free training, a webinar on your site that is evergreen. Yes, that can be evergreen, that you refine over time. So your goal is to create this trust building vehicle, right? We really believe in creating trust That is the equity of marketing that cannot be taken away. That is like the heart of why you are going to do better than your competitors for years to come. How much do your clients and the marketplace, what's your perception of trust? So you want to create a trust building vehicle, something that's really, really good. You don't just want to put any old crappy book out there to try to get your name out there. You want this to be good and strategic. You want it to sell your offer, your course, your brand, your services. You want it to sell you on autopilot. And that's what will happen. That's what will happen if you do it strategically. So when do you actually create one of these vehicles? Well, around the 6-month mark in your business building journey, or if you're at over $5,000 a month in income and you can reinvest. And I would add to that, and you've delegated. You have your first writer. You're out of the process of writing all of your content. So it's up to you to pick which one and where. You don't have to do all three. It's up to you to pick which vehicle you're going to create to get known. But this is a long-term pathway to getting known. And in our program, we review and help you create these things. You're not alone. So we have somebody, she's amazing, Lindsay Hartz, who came from 10 years of running an agency, 10 years of being a marketing consultant, doing consultancy plans, services. And she is now using our process to guide her entire marketing process for a 12-month-long coaching program that she's launching, which is around $8,000. So these evergreen sales vehicles, do not underestimate them. They can really sell your stuff in a big way. They really can. So this program has influenced a lot of what she's able to build, and she is seeing sales and results. But I can't take all the credit because she's an amazing person. All these people are amazing. They have this passion, the wish, when you have that call to go far in your industry, that's when all this works. You just need the skills, strategy, and systems. That's it. Right. And then we have somebody else, Andrea, the owner of Virtual Online Help. She was stuck for years. Nothing was working when she was hiring. It just didn't work out. This system is what is taking her to the next level. So the last piece of this is just to have long-term plans in place. And this is nothing complicated. This is simple stuff. You want to think about what your next 5 years are going to look like. We have this tool called the time investments versus time losses. You're going to look at it once a year. You can do twice a year if you want. Where was my time saved? Where was my time invested? You're going to rule things out. And that's another piece of this, is to rule opportunities out or in. You want to say yes and no at the right times. You don't always want to be the yes person, and you don't always want to be the no person. And let me tell you, for me, saying no is hard. I have to know when to say no. And I have to say no a lot more. I've had to say no more this year than I've ever had to in my 10-year journey because of the big things we are doing. So what is a simple system you can use to quickly roll these opportunities out? How do you avoid wasting time, money, and loss? How do you stay focused? And again, these things are so simple, right? Well, I can stay focused. I can look ahead, but maybe you're ready to admit they're not too, because I have heard some people tell me these are things that are actually very hard. Where am I going in 5 years? What will my next opportunity be? And if you have the ecosystem set up in your business, this becomes beautiful because you can actually look ahead and do things like, I'm going to write my fiction in 2023, which is what I'm doing. You can do amazing things, but it all starts with that sustainable business making money. You can't jump into all these opportunities if you haven't started there and really refined and focused in on that for at least a year. So by age 30, I've had the honor, joy of selling my first business for over $1 million. And now I'm creating new self-sufficient businesses, all tied to my passion and what I really enjoy doing. So at the very least, if this is all you take away today, excellent. You can have reoccurring revenue from a sustainable business. You can replace yourself in a lot of processes, which will mean you get to have more time with your family, a marketing strategy, a brand you're really proud of, one is making money you can stand behind, and you can finally have things like a vacation, maternity break, which I'm having in a couple weeks here, where you are truly present because you set up the systems, the strategy. and the skills. You've gotten clear on all the hard things that the majority, remember, 70% of businesses fail. This is why. It's when you get clear on the hard things, success happens. So if this is what you want, make that decision to yourself right now. And if the answer is yes, and you want help, no hard pitch here. This is what I do. And it's an invitation. You can join us if it's something you want help doing in the content transformation system. And this is what the journey looks like, because that's typically the next question we get. Well, what happens whenever I enroll? So this is the journey. When you enroll, immediately you get access to everything. It's all built. It was the building process of this curriculum, second to none. And I have built courses for 5 years. This is the best one we've ever built. So you immediately get access to that 5-phase curriculum and our private student group. Within 12 hours, you're going to hear from a real human who is dedicated just to the accountability of our students. And I think he's hanging out in the comments today. So you can say hi to Victor. So he is dedicated just to the accountability, the check-ins, and he does it with a lot of care. He's sending a video. Hey, how are you doing? How's this going for you? So you have somebody that's dedicated to your accountability, personally checking in on you. That is his job. And then as you go through the program, you're spending the next few months following our methodology. You're building that immediate short-term and the long-term cores of success. And you have an amazing group of coaches. Let me tell you, Lisa, she writes better content than I do now. No lie. So having her help reviewing the critical pieces of your copy is massive. I would say that alone, like the coaching help you get in this program, that alone is worth the cost. And that's what we've heard. And then beyond that, you're going to have the blueprint on what to do to get known once you get past the grunt work, right? Building all of the cores of what drives your online business success, what's going to drive that traffic, what's going to build your brand in the industry, the cores of that, your real estate. So you can go from making revenue, establishing your brand, to growing your revenue. So that's what the journey looks like. Not anything overnight here. Right? And we have people that are really taking their time. And those people are actually seeing the most success. So take your time. Now, this isn't for everyone. Who are those people that is not for? Well, if you are like, I am never going to delegate, I'm going to do it all myself, this is not for you. Sorry. Can't have that around here. You have to be at least open and willing to grow beyond the team of one. Or you don't want to focus in on one brand. You have to have one brand for this to really work, one brand idea. And it doesn't even have to be proven, because we teach you how to make it proven. We teach you how to prove your brand in the actual marketplace. That's where we start. So that's okay. But if you're not willing to go all in on at least one single brand, maybe you have multiple in the pipeline, that's okay too. But you need to go all in on one brand for this to really work. Focus is going to be key. And you can't afford any time. It can be a side hustle. That's okay. We actually encourage that. A 9 to 5 can give you the income you need to build this. And it can also be a full-time focus. If you're ready to go in full-time, you're going to blaze through this thing. And as a side hustle, you just need 5 hours a week. But you have to find that time, right? If this is a dream of yours to build a business, you have to make the time for it. And this is for you. Absolutely 100% for you. Definitely consider it. If you are able to say yes to these 3 things, first, you're fully committed to building a business, not just any old business, but a business out of your passion, what it is you love to do. And maybe you have an idea for that, but you desperately need that clear game plan, right? The help verifying your niche, the market demand, all the stuff that you can really get twisted up in at the very beginning. And if you're prepared to buckle in, learn, you just need that roadmap. This is for you. No doubt about it. So how do you jump in? Well, we don't just, you can enroll, sure, but we really encourage you to speak to our strategist first. And that's a completely free call. So have that Zoom call, and here's how to get to it. That's actually the wrong link. Oops, up there on the slides. I mean, that link will get you. That's our page for the entire program. So that link will get you to a button that says apply now.
I'm dropping the link you sent me in the chat as well there, Julia.
Jonah's got us covered. So that is the link, the one Jonah is dropping, and it should be apply.contenttransformationsystem.com. So that is how you can get straight to a free Zoom call with our strategist. And that will take you about 6 minutes or less to go through that application. And there's no pressure, right? Like we don't even have, I was telling you earlier, we don't have commissioned salespeople here. There's no pressure. It's completely up to you. But go through the process if this is something you think that you need. Find out if it's the right fit for you. If it is, the next step is that call, that free Zoom call, where we will have the system mapped to your specific situation. You'll be live with our strategist. And then if it's a right fit, jump in. Let's do this. Let's start building your business today. And here's what's inside. A ton of amazing stuff. This is my full-time thing. So this is what I am cultivating, refining every day. I love living in the system with my students. So you get a plug and play template library full of our best. These are our best templates that you can literally plug and play to grow your business, whether it's an SEO blog outline, the job post template, a contractor SOP, the entire payroll setup for your business. It's all there. So this is my brainchild. This is what I'm really proud of these days. So what's the time commitment? That is a question we get a lot. This is a 12-month mentorship. We're here to really hold your hand the next few months. This is serious business. This is your business. These are techniques that are going to get you really far. And we do recommend at least around 5 hours a week. That is what you'll need to dive in and really get good out of it. And you can do this at your own pace. 12 months will give you plenty of time to learn what's inside the system and be able to apply it. As far as tech, we are not stuck on a specific platform to grow your business, meaning like, how do I communicate with my team? What systems do I use for managing my sales, my tasks? You can use the platform you want to use, but we'll teach you the ones we like. And we'll show you exactly how to set them up for success. And it's very simple. This is not advanced stuff because we like to keep it simple. That is how you stay out of the weeds and run a good business that has good profit margins. So what's the investment? So at this time, this is a $5,000 program. But right now, for the next 7 days, you can get in at $2,500 or $250 a month. And we're calling this a small business owner discount because we know just from hearing in the marketplace, we know there's so many people that are coming in that need this, but they're completely brand new or they're stuck. They've been stuck for a while. And when you're at that place, because I've been there, you often don't have a lot of capital. So you can start today with $250 a month and get in on this entire system. But this is running for the next 7 days, I believe, on the specific workshop offer. So if you're here 7 days from now, this may not be around because, it's important to get off the fence. It's important to jump in if this is something that you need. So there's the link. Jonah also dropped it in the comments to apply to see if you are a good fit. No risk, no pressure. It's up to you. And then after you apply, you'll be able to book a call. And if it's a good fit, you can jump in. All right. So that is where we're going to end. And I think it's time for questions.
Yeah, Julia, thank you so much. And everyone watching, thanks for being active in the chat. We've got a bunch of great questions here. And we have about 5 more minutes with Julia. So we'll try and get to these all, but these are some meaty questions. So if we don't get to you, please leave them in the comments. We'll try and get back to those. And before we do that, I do just want to ask Julia, before we wrap up and hit the questions, can people reach out to you? Where's a good place to reach out to you if we don't get to their questions right now?
Yes. So if you go to contenthacker.com, you can actually, Victor is amazing. He's here in the chat. He's live on that chat, guys. So if you have questions, what you can do is send them to him on the contenthacker.com. There's a little chat box bottom right, I think. So send your questions to him and then he will tag me on Slack, right? Because we have the system set up that I was teaching you. So he will tag me so we get those answers to you guys today. So I think that's probably the quickest way to do it.
Cool. Love it. But let's dive in with the 5 minutes we have. I'm going to try and lump a couple of these questions together because I think they're both related. But Haran was asking, you have to know about SEO for blogging. Is what I say correct? And then Laurel was asking a little more specific to your course as well. So we took the Expert SEO Content Writer course, which was a great introduction to SEO. Is that material repeated in the new course? So let's summarize this with, what do you need to know about SEO to start blogging? And do you cover that in your course?
Yes, great questions. So, you do not need to know SEO from the place of knowing the whole thing that is SEO, search engine optimization. There are facets of it you need to know, like how and where to place your keyword, how to structure content that your readers are actually going to be engaged by, but balance that with what Google looks for. And that's a whole process, right? So that specific process is what we teach. There's no backlinking strategy. There's no got to go out and build these SEO campaigns that take 5 different pieces of software.
Right.
You can do it all with one software that costs $30 a month. And then as far as the other question, Laurel, taking the Expert SEO Content Writer course, which is amazing, by the way. I'm so glad you took that. There is none of those lessons show up in the new course. This is all brand new content, and it's really been simplified. So there's nothing that's repeated. And we've simplified it even more because my goal was not to overload with a ton of training content, but to really give you the best. So like there's one lesson that goes over that specific, how do you do SEO content? And that one lesson is very in depth. So you might want to watch it like 2 times, but it's all you need to know how to do it right now in the 2020s.
Love it. Love it. Diving into the next question, another one from Harn, and I think this is a great question. How do you convert a reader into a lead? So do you provide downloadables? Do you work with like lead magnets? How are you capturing someone's email once they get to your blog?
Yes, so that is a lead magnet. And that, that's list building. So whenever you're creating a lead magnet, you want to think about what it is you sell and then the transformation that you offer. And you want that lead magnet directly connected to that, because if it's not, what's going to happen is people that download that lead magnet and read it, they're not going to turn into leads, because I've made this mistake. So you want it directly attached to that transformation. And that's something we actually coach our students on in CTS, is the titles of their lead magnets and how connected is that to an actual lead. So, and that if you get that right, like it's really magical what happens when somebody downloads that, the likelihood of them becoming a lead. It's amazing.
So that's such an important definition, because I've done quite a few events just about getting the emails, but you're also using the lead magnet to sort out what is a quality lead by making that. Okay. Love that.
100%.
Okay. Awesome. Sarah Dawn asked a question I really wanted to get to, which is, as an artist, there's no real way for me to delegate my deliverables. I imagine, Sarah, you mean the art itself. Any thoughts? So for people who need to, by the nature of what they're doing, be the ones creating it, how do you find ways to hire out? How do you go about that? Do you make a flow chart? What's your system for that?
Yes. So I wonder if I could take like 1 second here to go to this particular slide I have. That is a really great question. And the way to answer that is to essentially let me see if I can share this really quick, Jonah, and then you can throw it up on screen.
I'll throw it up as soon as it's there.
Oops. Slide 72. I hit play from start. Let me go back to slide 72 here. So that is the area. Here we go. This is where I was, and I may have covered this too quickly, but that third area, your deliverables, that's the last one you want to outsource. In fact, don't outsource it if it's something that you do not want to scale. So for example, for you, Sarah, you could scale the price of your art, and you could scale the perception of your brand in the industry, right? And you do that through delegating in the marketing team. So the writer, the social media manager helping you. And then when it comes to what it is you're delivering, you are in that process 100%, because you're the artist. You're the person that needs to be, whether it's in that video, in that blog, the pictures, you need to be depicted, no one else. So that is the thing where, and we have somebody in this coaching program, her name's Natasha, where she's building custom safaris in Africa. And she is not delegating that build. It's right. Her. but she's using this program to actually build her entire brand for that process that she is going to live inside of.
Right. So
Hopefully that makes sense.
Sarah may never delegate the actual physical
Do not
product,
delegate the art.
but when
Ooh,
it comes to building an audience, writing a blog,
yes.
doing all of that, the presence online can all be delegated. So Sarah can focus on making the actual product, right?
Yes,
Love it.
100%.
Love it. We have a little more time here, and so I just wanted to quickly touch on this question, which is just could you talk a little bit more about podcasts as an evergreen state? And we have like maybe a minute. I hate to cut short, but I have another event right after this. So just can you speak quickly to like how you've used a podcast, well, what element that is, and maybe how it compares to a blog as far as should you have both? Is there one to focus on? What's a good fit for who?
Yeah. So you want that linear route, right, Sarah? So the first thing you want to do is the immediate, which is your blog, your marketing, your social media. And then once you start to see sales you can count on and you start to build that and you get out of some of the weeds, then it's time to scale. And you can scale through a podcast. That is a great evergreen sales vehicle. Absolutely. And what that could do for you as well, whenever you're inviting guests on your podcast, is create these partnerships and connections, which will create more sales, more impact. But it's all about the focus, right? You don't want to do a podcast too soon, or you risk burnout, right? It's not humanly possible to do it all as
Yeah,
much as we want to. So don't do that too soon. Have that to come later down the road.
right. And I'll say too, the Spotlight YouTube, not to plug it yet again, but there are a lot of great videos from podcasters, from people doing everything from 5-minute episodes to an hour-long episodes, and everyone talks about just the networking alone.
Yes.
Even if you never get
Oh, that's it.
hundreds of thousands of followers, just the people you can meet when you ask
Yes.
people to talk about themselves is pretty incredible. Something I'm learning a lot from these. So yeah.
Yes.
Julia,
So true.
I'm so sorry we have to end it today. And everyone watching, I'm sorry if we didn't get to your questions. But like Julia said, you can go to the Content Hacker to get those questions answered. The links for
Yes.
the course are in the chat and they're in the description there to apply and all of that. And Julia, before we wrap up today, was there anything else you wanted to touch on before we call it a day?
Oh, just a big thank you, for being here, for all of you spending your time with us. We don't take that lightly. And I love the platform Teachable has built. I think what you guys are doing with the spotlight's amazing. So keep it up. Keep it up.
Appreciate it. We love it. And I'm learning so much every day.
I
And for
bet.
everyone who's watched, thank you for showing up today. Thank you for being active and being here. Please like and subscribe to the Spotlight channel if you had a good time, if you learned something. We're consistently bringing creators, entrepreneurs, fascinating people like Julia out here to help us all grow our business and our lives to what we want them to be. Thank Julia in the chat for her time and expertise. And we will see you all in the near future. Julia, thank you so much again.
Thank you, Jonah. Bye, guys.